Okay, we can all calm down the Marvel content right now because do not forget this weekend there's a brand new David Fincher movie out right now on Netflix. But is it worth your time?
Here's Johnny.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Expecto Patronum!
The Killer stars Micheal Fassbender and is about after a fateful near miss, an assassin battles his employers and himself on an international manhunt he insists isn't personal. From director David Fincher, the name alone brings me to this movie. David Fincher, if you do not know, is one of the best directors to ever make film, honestly. Seven, one of my all-time favorites. Fight Club, Gone Girl, underrated Panic Room. He has so many great movies. So, of course, he has a brand new movie coming out this weekend on Netflix, which I'm just sad about because it's David Fincher. I want to see David Fincher on the big screen. So all you lucky early critics that got to see it early in screens, you're lucky because this movie would look beautiful on a movie theater screen. So I didn't know a lot about this movie. All I knew was Micheal Fassbender's a killer. That's all I really knew, and it's David Fincher. So, watch this movie tonight. I watched it with my mom and dad, and after the movie was over, my mom kind of dozed off, did her own thing. My dad thought it was boring and really didn't care for it. I sat there and I thought about it for a while, and I was like, you know what? If this is the lower bar of David Fincher, that just shows how good of a director he is. Of course, starting off with the positives is David Fincher. Of course, his direction is amazing. Seriously, I mean, he can make a horrible movie, but it'll probably look amazing. This movie is just edited perfectly. The immaculate shots that he does in this movie. There's probably going to be a story out, probably in a couple months, of him saying he had to do it like 49 times for one little shot. He probably did that. But he also has Micheal Fassbender in his main role, which I'm so glad to see him. I just watched Next Goal Wins, so to see him in this movie play a completely different role, he's a stone cold killer, and I'm not just trying to be like jokey. Like, he is really good as this character. Now, we don't know a ton about him, and this movie does deal with a family person of his nature getting injured, and so he's kind of going on a revenge tour. And you think in that scenario, with this kind of stuff happening in a David Fincher movie, this is like prime time David Fincher. Unfortunately, like I said, I would not put this in one of my favorites. It's a 2-hour slow burn about a killer and his process and how he does his things, which is interesting for the most part, but the story itself never felt like it had the grit. I mean, the movie has it all. It has amazing cinematography, amazing digestive score, and music. I loved the music in this movie, especially the score. There's one really awesome fight scene, but this movie's not an action movie. I'm not saying it's a bad movie because it's not an action movie, but I will say for 2 hours, you are really just watching Micheal Fassbender go from A to B to C, learning information to get to the final part of this movie. And I will say, for the ending of this movie, I was a little disappointed. Honestly, the ending, I was like, okay. So we built up to that. So really walking away from this movie, I can say this. Micheal Fassbender did a really good job. The movie shot really well. Is it a rewatchable David Fincher movie like many other movies? Honestly, no. But for the 2 hours I watched, I thought it was good. I thought it was really well made. I thought it was a movie that I think a lot of people can appreciate, but this is not a movie that I'm saying you need to watch right away. I'm going to give The Killer a B. Again, I'm not calling this movie bad. Not whatsoever. It is not a bad movie. It's just a movie that, like, I appreciate everything it showed me and did. It's just a movie that I'm not going to rewatch. Honestly, it's just, I felt like I never ever need to watch it again. I don't feel like I needed to watch it right away, but I did because of David Fincher. Which I guess for his, again, if this is his lowest movie to some of you, that's saying something. Because he's got some great movies and movies that are really good that aren't just as good as maybe like Seven, Fight Club, and I love Panic Room. This one, probably near the bottom, but not a bad movie. And if you guys enjoy this movie review, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.